Alright, I guess I should mark some essays. Nice. Alright. What? What? All right, everybody, welcome back. So if you can't tell, I'm kind of sick of marking essays, specifically ones with absolutely atrocious grammar. So I teach my classes all the time how to write more professionally, but I don't think it's sunk in, so I decided to make a YouTube video about it, and hopefully that'll help. So this whole PowerPoint is really going to be about professional versus casual language. And there's lots of ways to make yourself sound professional in writing, whether it be an essay or whether it be a resume, which is probably 100 times more important to you guys. But either way, you guys need to learn how to sound smart, even if you're not. That's how I became a teacher. Not actually smart, but I certainly sound smart. So the first concept we need to look at in order to be able to sound professional is the idea of register. If you're wondering what that means, it's basically how smart or not smart you sound when you speak. That's the simplest definition I can give you, but it's obviously a lot more complicated than that. So I've identified 4 main registers that we use in the English language. The main register you guys use the most with your friends and just in general is a slang register. This is where you use, I don't know, this is kind of like text speak or like YouTube comments or, I don't know, memes, whatever, right? Like that's the kind of grammar that goes on. And there's nothing really wrong with speaking in slang. I'm not one of those English teachers. It has its place, but it definitely doesn't belong in an essay or a resume or anything like that. The next register is casual. This is how you speak with your friends probably most often. It's not necessarily poor grammar, but it's not really great grammar. It's really just sort of, I don't know, average people speak like this, right? After that, you have something like proper grammar, where people are starting to sound a little bit snooty, but you can still like have a conversation with them, right? And the register that you guys need to get to in your writing is an academic register. You would never ever speak with an academic register, and if you did, people would look at you like you were a freaking alien and they would not talk to you and you would have no friends. This is why English teachers have no friends. This is why I have no friends. I have no friends.
Hello, darkness, my old friend.
So this whole PowerPoint is going to be focusing on how to write in an academic register. So if you're not going to remember anything else in this video, just remember this one thing. Nobody on earth would speak with an academic register. Let me correct that. No normal people would speak with an academic register. You sound like a weirdo. Let me give you an example. If someone asked you the question, "For whom are you looking?" you'd look at them like they were a freaking alien. Like, who speaks like this? This sounds like, I don't even know, man. Just don't talk like this, okay? The question is, who are you looking for? The reason that one sounds better than the other is one is using an academic register and the other one is using a casual register. I'll let you figure out which one is which. So coming back to this point, just as nobody would speak with an academic register, nobody should write with a casual register. Now, I'm referring specifically to academic or professional writing. This includes resumes, this includes cover letters, this includes you writing your bosses to get a raise, this includes you writing universities to get accepted, this includes programs or clubs you want to become a part of and you need to apply, this includes scholarship applications, bursary applications. There is a lot of reasons that you need to be able to write academically. That being said, there's more applications than just professional writing. There's actually real life applications to this too. Now, so here's like the #1 internet rule I follow. If you're losing an argument on the internet, just start correcting their grammar. It's way easier than actually formulating smart arguments to beat them. Just put there, the correct version of there, with a little star above it, and you win the argument because they're obviously an idiot. So if we look at this example here, let's say I want to troll Ninja and FaZe Clan, and I want everybody to know how smart I am. So I go ahead and type this hilarious comment, and then someone comes along and just does this. Well, now I look like an idiot. So even on the internet, this kind of stuff is important. If you're having a debate or an argument, or I don't know, even if you're trolling somebody on the internet, if you misspell something, they're going to jump all over you, and you're going to look like a moron, and you're going to lose the argument. So you got to learn good grammar. So we're going to look at a couple of examples in a slang register, a proper or casual register, and then an academic register. Now, remember this again. I want to clarify this one more time. It's okay to speak in slang. It's not okay to write in slang. It's not okay to speak in academic register. It's important to write in academic register. So the first example is the word gonna. Every time I see this word in an essay, I do this. This word has no place in academic writing. If you write this word, which I would say about 10% of my students do, like, you're just gonna get a C- or fail the assignment if it's an academic assignment. This word is not a word. You guys know it's not a word. It's two words. Going to. That gonna means going to. Now, even going to, I mean, it's fine, but there's a better way of saying it. For example, you can say shall. Shall sounds really weird. Why? Because it's academic. You guys aren't used to hearing academic language, so it should sound weird to you. It should sound snooty. It should sound arrogant. It should sound educated. Okay, so that's one word. Let's look at some sentences. So how about this one? Platinum ain't a good starter for reactions. It's hella expensive too, so... Now, there's quite a few things wrong here. Obviously, we have some weird words like ain't and gonna. That's fine. But notice at the very end of the sentence I have so. The reason that that's wrong is that's how you speak. You end sentences with so when you speak. That's fine. There's nothing wrong when you speak. This is an example of how sentences are constructed sometimes with a spoken grammar. You don't want a spoken grammar when you write. You want a written grammar. Don't end sentences with something like that. So, we say that when we speak, not when we write. So here's the same sentence in proper grammar. It's fine. Like, this is fine, but this is like a B-level writer. Platinum is not an effective starter of the reaction. Besides, its cost is high. So this sentence is fine, right? I'm not saying it's wrong, but we can do better. Did you guys know that there's a sweet word for a starter of a reaction? Well, here it is. Platinum is not an effective catalyst of the reaction. Moreover, its cost is high. Look at this. We actually only changed 2 words between these examples. We changed starter of the reaction to catalyst, which is a fantastic word. Often educated words mean 3 or 4 different words condensed into a single word. So here we have catalyst. If you don't use the word catalyst, you have to say starter of the reaction. That's 4 words. Great, so we have a fantastic word there. Instead of saying besides, we use moreover. So we just changed 2 things, and it sounds significantly better. Exact same sentence, 3 different registers. So let's look at another example. I got the chance to meet lots of researchers and stuff at the conference. Again, obviously lots is not a word. Stuff is a garbage word. Stuff and things, like, just never write those down. Just, like, literally never write them. Delete them from your brain. You can use them when you speak to people, that's fine. Same one, just better. I had the chance to meet lots of researchers at the conference. Okay, again, fine, let's make it even better. I had the opportunity to meet many researchers at the conference. Again, I changed just a couple of words and it's significantly better. So the key takeaway here is word choice is really important. You can pick good words. So let's look at some better words here. So there's different tiers of words. Tier 1 words, again, are fine and spoken. These are spoken words, words you tell people. When you talk to your friends, your parents, whatever, these are words you use all the time. Words like run, see, book, school. These are used all the time. And these words are fine in speaking. If you want to sound a little bit more educated, pick some words that aren't used frequently in conversation. These are words like cite, evaluate, assess. These are good words. You might hear them sometimes if someone smart is speaking, but, pretty rarely would you hear them. Tier 3 words are never ever used in conversation unless it's an academic conversation. These are words like respiration, protagonist, terraqueous. So I would use these words all the time in my writing. If I ever said to somebody, hey man, your respiration sounds weird, that's just like, it has no place in speaking. It sounds so awkward unless, of course, you're giving an academic speech or you're talking to an academic. Another quick example is conjunctions. If you don't know what a conjunction is, you can pause it here and read the definition. Basically, it's words that link parts of sentences together. So there's lots of conjunctions you guys use all the time, like and, so or then, but, or. So these are fine, right? But we can do way better. And again, these are words you would never use in your spoken language. You would use them in your written academic language. So instead of saying and, you can say moreover, or additionally, or in addition. Those are all way better than and. Instead of so or then, therefore, thus, hence, consequently, as a consequence. Instead of saying but, however, although, even though, nevertheless, nonetheless, or in spite of. These are all way better. Instead of saying or, you could say alternatively, or, hold on, let me move myself here, conversely. Do you want to impress your teacher or your boss or your school or whatever? Instead of saying any of these conjunctions, say these ones. These ones are just way better, man. They sound way better. Okay, and I have one last tip for you guys, and it has to do with prepositions. If you don't know what a preposition is, here's a perfectly easy definition. If that definition was too difficult for you, here's a list of the most 50 common prepositions in English. These are words that tell us the relationship between two objects. So I, one object, the chair, the other object, I am on the chair. What's the relationship between me and the chair, or the chair and I? Well, I'm on it. So that's what a preposition does. You want to sound fancy? Don't end a sentence with a preposition. So here's an example. Who are we going to the mall with? Sounds perfectly fine, right? Okay, where's the preposition? I'll give you a second. That's right, it's with. I told you not to end a sentence with a preposition, so here we've ended the sentence with the preposition with. Also, let's deal with this piece of garbage. So how do we change that sentence around? Well, let's move the preposition so it's no longer at the end. With whom are we going to the mall? No one would ever say this, but it sounds hella fancy, right? So if you want to sound fancy, don't end a sentence with any of these words. Put it in the front, and usually you'll have to say something like with whom or with what. And that ends up sounding really weird when you speak it, but when you write it, it sounds sick. So that's all I got for you guys today. I hope this video ends up being really short, but if you want to get a good grade on your writing style, you want your teachers to think you sound fancy, you want to sound smarter than you are, just do these things, man. Don't end a sentence with a preposition, pick better words, order your words in a different way, and if you do these things, you'll sound way smarter than you actually are. And that's how I became a teacher. I just basically lied to everybody with my grammar. Alright guys, as always, I make these videos for you. I love you. Please like and subscribe so that I can keep making these for you. It helps my self-esteem massively when I have more than 3 views on these videos, and I hope you guys have a fantastic day. Peace.